welcome to unThinkMe. We have special guests today. Wonderful, my favorite band ever by far, and 3 out of 4 of them, as a matter of fact. I'm so delighted. I can't believe it.
You can be the honorary fourth member tonight.
This is kind of a jam that's it's on YouTube. It's about vulnerability and philosophy, in particular, kind of spiritual, psycho-spiritual philosophy. But I just thought your music would really appeal to this audience. The genuinity and the vulnerability of the music and the spirituality of the music would be like a really cool topic to dive into here. I don't want to hijack the whole ride because I'm here to hear what you guys have to tell me and the world and just to hang out and have a good time.
Sounds like a great
That
time.
sounds good intention. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. That's a great directive. Appreciate that.
Now you guys are like Tool, or Rick and Morty. You put out like one song every 16 years. And,
Oops. Yeah.
I got super excited. There's this new thing you're doing now. You put out 2 songs as Wonderful's Night Dance.
The great Johnny Rock made a few tracks and sent them around, and we made some songs out of them. But Night Dance has a history that you guys could probably tell, and Johnny, you've probably got
So this is a remote collab kind of deal? Started with some beats?
Well, somewhere in between our first band, our second band, Wonderful, and our third band, no, after our third band, U.S.E, United States of Electronica, we kind of had a bunch of songs that fit kind of in the middle between like, the vibey, atmospheric, orchestrated pop of Wonderful and the disco dance pop of U.S.E. And they kind of had this nighttime dancey flavor to them.
It's a little bit of its own thing too, it feels like. And there's some kind of samba in there, and I feel like U.S.E was kind of moving in that direction, and Wonderful was kind of moving in that. They were kind of moving towards some synthesis. And I gotta say, it's just 2 songs, but I feel like you've really nailed that synthesis to where it's making me dance. I'm really into ecstatic dance now, so it's perfect timing for me. And it's making me cry. Like, it's legit, like, punching me like Wonderful does, in that special way.
That's
awesome, man.
So far, so good.
Breaking into tears on the dance floor. That's the ultimate. Yes.
So this is.
Oh, wait, there's a song title right there. Tears on the dance floor.
Tears on the dance.
Tears on the dance floor.
Yeah.
That's almost sounds like an old classic country song,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She got the gold mine and I got the shaft, or what is that other one? Or she got the ring and I got the finger. Like
it was the dog's tears on the dance floor that night.
Yeah, there it is.
One of the dog's children got run off real bad. We write lots of country songs.
Yeah.
When's the Wonderful Country act coming out?
Oh yeah.
We have a song from a while ago. In fact, Jason and I did that. We should actually redo as Wonderful, and it was
kidding me.
Well, it was for beer. For beer doesn't buzz me no more. And it was a classic country song.
Classic.
Yeah, tasteless.
Yeah, light beer. Yeah, it's tasteless.
Classic.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted to plug Wonderful's Night Dance up front. This is kind of what you're doing now. We want people listening to that. Like where all it's on Bandcamp, it's on Spotify.
Yes, sir.
All these places.
Yeah, it's kind of everywhere. And so we finished 2 songs. Johnny made some beats, I think, and some tracks. I don't know, it was kind of inspired by like Daft Punk's breakup, right, Johnny?
Yeah, a while back. And kind of maybe it was like Daft Punk breakup / how we love the city and we love our family of bandmates, and how we've been through lots of things together, and it kind of came together as a song that I think Jason and Noah came up with. The So Sentimental is some of the chorus that ties into those feelings. It was just like passed around tracks that we passed around and then got together and finally mixed and mastered it.
Do you anticipate that more will come out of this? Like this will be a thing where you're pumping them out little by little?
Well, we have one more song in the Wonderful's Night Dance EP. We were tentatively hoping to drop on Valentine's Day. It's called Just So Beautiful, and it's about love and our love for each other, our love for our partners and friends. We don't know necessarily if it's going to be dropping on Valentine's Day exactly. We always do things a little bit,
A little
Late.
bit, yeah.
yeah, late.
Nice.
So there's
I need to
one
go.
more
Yeah.
so far that's in the
That's hip.
can.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
And that one's basically done. It's just a matter of
Dropping it.
doing it. We got to do it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I recommend highly for people out there wanting to do ecstatic dance. I'm really into ecstatic dance now. This is great for it. Unhinged, set yourself loose and just go wild, wiggle it out to the music. It's just right for it. Daft Punk
Sweet.
meets love, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
We have Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. We have a YouTube channel as well. Apple
So-
Music.
Now that's Apple Music. So this is a point of
All of
contention
them.
here, all right? Because you guys don't have a lot of music, and for people who really love your music, it's not a whole lot, and it's really really good. But then I see like on YouTube, you'll have some like obscure like crunk quality sound video of a song that I don't know, and it makes me mad that doesn't exist on like the kind of recordings you guys make that are
You would be
so...
you would be very angry to hear that we have about 10 albums worth of music that
I bet.
nobody
Oh.
but us have ever heard.
I'm furious.
I know. Me too,
So
actually.
what
We
are
have
we
a
gonna
we
do?
have a we have a metal song called
Okay.
"Taste the Hunger,"
No,
and
come on.
it's
Yes.
Expanded to every genre.
we need to drop. I mean, just talking about it, I think is
Wonderful does
inspiring
metal.
us to
All
to
right.
drop some of this. Yeah.
Wow. Well, see, I want to hear the metal jams. Like,
That was actually the last. We do these like I wouldn't say every year. We try to do them every year or so, but we like go out of town together and like get together and record. And the last one of those trips we did, we ended up recording an old school like heavy metal song.
wow.
It's pretty good.
So, what determines if a song actually makes it to one of your recordings, or?
I mean, a lot of these like sort of excursions we'll do. There's just whole lot of just like we get in a room with all of our instruments and then just kind of let it come to us and come through us. And sometimes there'll be like a little piece of an idea that we already previously had, but a lot of times it's just a matter of us pulling it in. And
So
a lot of
the extensive vault material isn't going to be at that level of polish that we can expect from your recordings. Maybe
fair to say, yeah.
Some of it will be. Some of it will.
Yeah.
far out.
Yeah, there's about, I'd say, over the last 10 years, around 10, I don't know, eight to 10 trips to some cabin in the middle of somewhere or nowhere, and bringing all of our instruments and recording gear and hanging out for a few days, an extended weekend. And, a lot of it is, coming up with stuff on the spot. It feels like we've been making music together for more than 25 years, I think now.
Ooh.
And it's like we get in the same room with some instruments and something always happens, something wonderful.
Yeah.
So you
Happens.
one of these extended weekends, like would you get about 5 songs out of a session like that, like 5 kind of seeds or something like
Yeah,
that?
that'd be a fruitful weekend,
That'd be pretty good.
But yeah, that seems, yeah.
And you
A lot
play-
of, a lot of it, there was kind of a phase where we were doing a lot of like, well, actually these trips that we're talking about, those have been a lot of the recordings that we've released came out of those as well. Like the last, our 2 full-length albums or whatever, most of those were recorded like off on these trips. More recently it had been like, I don't know, a little more like kind of ambient, explorative type stuff. And then we kind of maybe got a little tired of that and started like nailing down more actual songs and stuff. So yeah, 5 songs in a weekend. That'd be sweet.
that would
Maybe
be
not
good.
always that many, but usually a lot of good jams.
You guys go like fishing and stuff too? Is there like a lot of playing around and
Um,
bonding kind of?
Teeny, yes.
yeah, I think we posted one of our press photos. Noah's holding up a fish, I think.
Well, yeah, that was
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
that was right up I live up in the North Cascade, and that was a trip we took probably 5, 6 years ago, driving our van up these very sketchy switchbacks up by Cascade Pass. We camped out for a couple nights with like the whole view of, these glaciers, and it was beautiful. Hiked down to a lake
So you're
and
saying you got
had a drink.
a van with four guys and a lot of instruments in it, pretty much, and some probably some gear,
We
some
kind of pared down that particular time down to just some acoustic instruments and a
okay.
field recorder because we were going getting some altitude.
So that's the creating part, right? But then there's
Yeah,
this whole studio part, I should assume.
right.
Because I have like this like kind of game you can play with Wonderful like their core albums. Like you probably can't name an instrument that doesn't appear on one of their songs somewhere.
Mhm.
And someone's like French horn. Oh, I found the French horn. I know where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if
Sweet.
it's a real one, but it
Yeah.
sounds real. Yeah,
Yeah, was there? It
harmonica,
might have been. Yeah,
any world instrument, you name it, it's in there somewhere, or it sounds like there is.
that's cool.
So I'm not seeing these all fitting in the van together. That's got to come like afterwards, or some really good sampling.
Yeah, usually there's like some home session. I think like on the like God Bless Our Pad, I think we were doing a lot of like we had a friend that came in and played cello, and
Hmm.
I think maybe I fought through some saxophone and Noah played some violin and stuff
Okay.
like that. I feel like kind of more where we're at now when we play, we've kind of like honed into a little more of a traditional setup.
Possible to do live, right? I mean,
Yeah, right,
that
exactly.
helps. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
kind of noticed that with the Dreamland stuff. Like everyone kind of has their like signature tone, and there's like more textures and layers, but there is that kind of fundamental like four-piece sound to it.
Yeah,
Like,
sweet. It's so cool that like someone likes that album.
oh, really? You
It's
felt like it
awesome.
wasn't
Yeah.
received very well,
Well,
or
no, no,
just like,
I don't mean that at all. I just mean it's cool, man. I'm stoked that you're stoked. So it's
oh
awesome.
yeah, I'm so stoked, man. Yeah, God Bless Our Pad is definitely my favorite, and then I think
Yeah.
that Dreamland is objectively better. Like it's actually a better
Mhm.
production. It's just it wasn't the right place and time for my heart, like as much
Yeah.
as God Bless Our Pad was, and I so you don't have to like twist my arm to get me into the dream concept, right? I'm a kind of like eidetic dude. But God, as like a sort of meditation on Judeo-Christian themes, that was a
Mhm.
hard sell for me, and that's why it was so powerful for me because I feel like this album kind of has the power to make people, atheistic people, people who have nothing to do with these sorts of ideas, make them genuinely feel the spirit, feel that
Wow.
second person relationship with creation,
Wow.
feel included in that for one thing, and
Awesome.
be able to stack that up with like our notions of like I have family love, I have romantic love, love for the streets, love for my friends, but this idea of loving Jesus, loving God, loving all these sorts of things that would be kind of foreign to me, like I actually get it in that music, like it touches a person like me.
Wow.
That's a
Dude,
crazy accomplishment. And so I mean,
amazing, man.
I wish that, you guys at that time or at any time could have gotten kind of hooked up with like the gospel circuit. Think of how transformative that could be because so much of that stuff is so like schlocky, it's so banal. And you guys are talking about, God and Jesus and heaven and stuff in a way that's so like intellectual and just not baloney. It's totally I've never seen anything like it.
Dude.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's there's an interesting like there's four of us and we all have our different like takes on all of that. And then you bring in the dimension of time, right? And then it's like we've all gone through our changes too. And yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, we were all coming out of like sort of a Christian school, but also all of us sort of like shooting off in our own directions. And for me, it was like finding some of that like sacred element like through music more so than through like traditional stuff. I feel like that just is continually like the exploration for us, because it's like this deep well. I mean, it's different for all four of us, you know. That's
Beautiful.
really cool to hear. Say that.
Beautiful, yeah, and I mean that's what we're all about here on UnThinkMe, is a sort of comparative and integrative spirituality. I mean, this is for Buddhists, this is for atheists, this is for Christians. It's just like, how can we all kind of get along, and how can we benefit from one another's notions of the spiritual? You know, it's available for everyone. All spirituality is available for everyone.
Yeah.
And maybe we should do a little bit of kind of origin story, right? So you just mentioned, you know, y'all went to the school together, and is that kind of how you met?
I got to school and there was this guy on my floor who was playing guitar, and I was just like magnetized to him and his tunes.
Hmm.
And that was Pete. And I was like, dude,
Oh.
and I started singing with him, and he was like, here's a couple chords. And, you know,
What you mean? You
less
didn't
than
play-
a year later, we were in a band, and Johnny heard us playing and walked down the hallway and just locked in. And so, yeah, it's just kind of really organically, like,
Wow.
we all just kind of like magnetized to each other.
But you've been
it's-
playing your whole life, right? I mean,
I hadn't been personally, like,
Is that
I had
right?
never touched a guitar until
oh,
Pete put one in my hands, you know.
wow.
I did like band in grade school and choirs and stuff like that. But so yeah, that's the
Wow.
real, that's the origin. And then Noah, so we had that band, and then Noah came a couple years later, because he's a couple years younger than me and Johnny and Pete. Young Weave. But as soon as we met him, he had that same magnetism, I felt like, where he liked our band and we liked him, and he could play Martha My Dear on piano. So we were like, you should be our keyboard player.
Luckily, I had spent my senior year in high school learning Martha My Dear on piano. It's the only song I knew, but it was enough to impress these guys.
Oh yeah.
And get them used to the idea of adding keyboard to the band.
I think Noah was visiting. Weren't you visiting the dormitories from high school to like see what college was all about?
Yeah, I think I met some of
That's
you
where
guys
you met
like, visiting
Jason, I think.
college.
Yeah. Yep.
And we
Yeah.
were like instantly just had a connection, I think,
Yeah.
when we first met you.
It's so much more like than the sum of its parts, though. I mean, it's not like you guys are just all like these shredder musicians off on your own. It's like there's this weird. It just seems so right. That's so bizarre to me that you guys just kind of like live near each other and stuff like that.
When I met Pete, he had already written like 100 songs,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all like beautiful melodies with really interesting chords. And not that I knew what either of those things really were, but so I feel like that was like the heart of it. You know what I mean? Like it all like sprung from like, I better write a song that's like, can like stand next to Pete's. I still can't, but you know, I realized that's kind of a pretty big part of why we ended up being so locked in musically, is because we just wanted to sing each other's songs. And
I'd hardly written a song before I met these guys, ended up singing them, the first song I wrote, and they're like, can you sing a little bit louder? I'm just
Can you sing a little louder?
I mean, it was just being around you guys and hearing your songs, just so inspiring. Makes me want to write songs too. And then just kept doing it.
So it's all about that collective energy, really. Like it, you're coming from different like levels of talent, and you're just kind of like, I want to do what you're doing. So many bands go through these, like, they're on Craigslist, they're playing around, they don't quite have the group together. It's like, you guys this is the group. That's it. If it was somebody else, it'd be something different, probably.
I guess,
I mean,
like,
for sure. We've all kind of done session work outside of our bands, and I think, and also played in other bands.
Yeah.
There's never been like that kind of a connection. So
Wow,
it was
okay.
almost like it was in the stars.
U.S.E, right? You guys were wonderful. You were kind of like, you had an album out, and then you just got this like crazy idea? Or how did that work?
It was an accident.
Well, okay. We should start with Jason and Peter actually wrote a couple of techno songs, like their attempt
Okay.
at techno, and we were like, this is awesome. And so we just kind of jammed along with them and then thought, what if
Well,
we
those,
were
yeah,
some kind of, underground band from Germany? We all wore masks and no one knew who we were. And that sort of, inspired the fun. And we thought people love dancing at shows. Like, let's write some songs where people dance instead of, I think back then it was sort of when shoegazing was kind of uh, at its height, and maybe like those kinds of shows had a different energy than than like a sweaty dance club, and we really gravitated towards dancing and letting ourselves go on the dance floor. And I think that combined with our love of like a groove built U.S.E.
it was almost this like release valve too, because creating that wonderful music like God Bless Our Pad, I mean, man, it took us a long time to like orchestrate some of these songs and like really complicated stuff and like
Delicate.
really, yeah, really heady and delicate. And I think it just like created the perfect conditions for us to just want to like blast it out and like party and dance and like make the most fun stuff we could.
So U.S.E, United State of Electronica, this was a considerably more popular band. Like you guys went on like major tours and opened for like big name acts and stuff. I mean, if people living around Seattle would know that name pretty much. Whereas Wonderful, not so much. And that was always such a bummer to me. Like I just wanted Wonderful to get huge, and I don't see why it doesn't, honestly, like for real.
Yeah,
There's nothing missing in that. It's not like it needs like more money or production or something. It's like already there. It's completely
yeah,
there.
Thank you.
but yeah,
That's really cool.
I that's what I think. I mean, that's definitely my opinion of it, man.
I think
Um,
USC just gave us the platform to like blast it out a little more. We were,
and
I
I
mean,
mean, I
the
love
shows were so fun.
it's about as like hyper dance it out, like pump your fist. It's about as jubilant as any music you'll ever hear in your life.
Right.
It's an awesome band. Yeah, it's a great dance band, especially, and just the live energy is like out of control too.
Thanks, dude. That
Um,
was so much fun, man.
Last.
so okay, so that was like kind of the primary side project, but there's a lot of like other.
The very first Wonderful EP opened with "Close Your Eyes,"
Hmm.
and one of the tracks on U.S.E's first album was "Open Your Eyes." It's kind of a good comparison of like the dream sequence and just the atmosphere of Wonderful versus the just like awakening.
Open your eyes, everybody, let in the light, everybody, give it a try, everybody, it's always
Light
Waking up and dreaming.
shining.
Yeah.
I don't think we did that on purpose. I just noticed that as well.
Did USC start to happen before God Bless Our Pad, or was that right after? Or
USC was going before God Bless Our Pad came out, I think, but we had been
okay,
working on it for a long time. We played a lot of shows with Wonderful, and we put out that first kind of EP, and then I think God Bless Our Pad came out after USC
after
started,
USC,
right?
and
But to
then
us, it was all just like whatever we were able to work on at the time. And as we still are, it takes so long for us to finish and release stuff. And I think by the time that God Bless Our Pad came out, we were already like pretty beyond, kind of past it musically. Or it just moved on to USC stuff. But anyway,
Busy with U.S.E shows.
that's right.
yeah, I bet, yeah. As far as like frustrating archival material too, one of the coolest things that's ever happened in my life, Noah, I got to hang out with Noah like quite a while back, and he just had a guitar, like a little nylon string guitar, and he played this new song he's been working on. Wrote it in Japan, I believe. Sakura, is it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so I've never heard the song. I haven't heard your guys' version. I just hear him play an acoustic guitar song, and it's very intricate. It's very complicated, and it's just beautiful. And it goes on, and it just rocked my world. It literally like changed my life as a musician just to have that experience, that translation. And then later, the album comes out, and it's like, how is that the same thing? I want, like, you guys have probably done like all these different versions of these songs that are incredible in completely different ways. That's so annoying.
Yeah.
The album version is incredible too, but it's just very like through composed. It's very layered. It's got all kinds of stuff going on, all kinds of. I don't
Yeah.
even get how they're the same thing particularly. I recognize the lead melody. That's about it.
Yeah.
Come back to me when the wind turns the leaves. Let love rain down on me. I don't know why, but I keep thinking something's bound to go right as we lie in the cherry tree under Kyoto. As we lie in the cherry tree under
Yeah. I think by the time all four of us layer our flavors on top of, if somebody comes with a song, it just becomes all of ours, by the time it's done. Often that means 100 layers of tracks.
80
You
too
know?
many.
Yeah. Right.
And then Jason, you're usually the guy that's doing all the post-production stuff, right? The crazy like music concrete kind of stuff. Like, is that everyone? Or?
I mean, I'm kind of usually at the helm when it comes to like the final mixing, but we're usually all in a room together. And a lot of those crazy sounds come from any of us. Yeah, I mean, I've done a bunch of them, but Pete's known to throw down some pretty crazy
Okay.
sounds, and
Okay.
actually we all kind of are too. So
Okay. I mean, it would be cool if you guys like maybe on your YouTube or something just busted out some of those like acoustic versions, just as like a special, because it seems like it'd be way easier to do once you're practiced up on a particular song or whatever.
yeah, that's a really good idea.
Magnificent.
I mean, I think it's interesting, like when you say how inspired you were of Sakura, like I think we all felt that same way when he played it for us. And we're just like, wow, amazing, let's play as a band, and then we take it in, and it turns into, it could be argued if it got better, maybe not, you know what I mean? But
the songwriter thing and the band thing are so different to me. There's
Yeah.
just different, like songwriter stuff hits me a different way. A person with the guitar is so intimate and soulful. And then, I mean, you guys, I think the wonderful thing is all about these really epic productions and symphonic. I mean,
yeah,
you're just artists with sound. I mean, you
cool.
nothing's off limits. Say something like Adrian, right? The opener to God Bless Our Pad. Like, I can't really count that song. I've like tried to count
Can't
through
either.
it. Like,
Neither
is that
can we.
from stacking tracks and just having them line up, or did you like score that out, or does Johnny handle that? Like, how does the time signatures and stuff like work with that?
Dude, that was the hardest song to learn how to play live. Because
Yeah.
I think I had to like
Oh,
Jason wrote the
We can't play it
brought
live.
the
Pete
yeah.
Peter wrote the chords, and he doesn't really care about like meter and
He's
you
not
know,
now.
like
Most people are naturally
counting or math
luck.
or anything.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just like, they'll just come up with, creative timing on things without trying, And then I had to play the piano for it because he couldn't play it, again. So on the recording, I think I ended up playing piano, and that was hard.
There's a really specific thing, and it's all over that album. It really affected me. It's sort of like on that song, dun 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 dun. It's like in and out, off and on of the beat, going back and forth.
Yeah,
Ana Paradiso does it as well. The Beach does
yeah.
it. It's not exactly a polyrhythm. Is that a Pete thing? Is that what, or is that like a thing you guys discovered? Is that from
I
world
think
music? Like,
I think we got into it. I think we got inspired by like Steve Reich, with like these phasing melodies that aren't a four. So when they repeat against something that is a four, it's landing on a different
yeah,
part of it. And you do a
yeah.
couple of those that are in different meters, and then it. So yeah, I remember we would be doing that stuff live. Is like, I guess that's right. We were doing a lot of that back then. We haven't really done as much of that
It's not as
since.
prevalent. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was really a signature to that, and I had never heard that anywhere else. I've
yeah,
never actually heard that really anywhere else. It's very
Well,
strange.
what you didn't see is that you actually have to use a protractor when you play that song live.
yeah. All right.
People didn't know that
Yeah.
we each have 1 to 3 protractors guiding us
A
during the
slide
playing of
rule,
that song.
slide
Yeah.
So,
abacus.
so that throws you guys off too. Like while you're playing it, it takes a minute to feel that like
Well,
bouncing.
Jason puts like cues into like a backing track for me sometimes. It's like as a click track where when you're supposed to come in. That helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Those
Okay.
those ones you're talking about, none of those were ever part of like the real live repertoire.
Oh.
And so I think they were a little more like studio creations, wherein it was easier for us to like lay out a grid in the computer that was like, all right, here's the part that's in like 11 or whatever. And also you get kind of used to it, you once you play it for a while. But I guess the end, like the beach was definitely a live one.
Yeah.
And we had that big kind of overlapping arpeggios.
People who are crazy about it, right? Is there a profile? Are these people who play music?
Most of our listeners were musicians, probably.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people from the Seattle scene and stuff who kind of know
Yeah,
everyone. Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
You are you still doing the ambient stuff? Like you have all these kind of collections of ambient tone poems, kind of, or
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. I've put out a handful of records, Sunstream Sound, which is
yeah.
out there, and yeah, that's cool stuff. I don't really. Yeah, I've got a pile of that laying around that I release every now and again. So,
I would go to open mics and play that on a loop and do speeches about like self-help and stuff.
oh, rad, dude,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's pretty
You know,
good.
I love that about that music, and it was always kind of like a hope for it was that it was like functional or something, like that it had like a practical application or something.
Oh,
So
you bet. Like yoga
to hear you say
classes.
that is awesome.
Yeah, yoga
Yeah,
classes and stuff like
yeah,
that, healing stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's cool. I mean, there's not a, there's not a lot like there's this whole genre of like ambient, but you're doing something pretty special there. It's kind of its own thing. It's like the wonderful sound as a concentrate, just like pure
Oh, that's cool.
tone.
That's
Like
cool.
it's
Mhm.
sweet. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's just a matter of marketing, probably just getting that to the new age people that need
yeah,
their
right.
crystal shop tunes.
Yeah, marketing has never been our forte, but
Ah,
that's all right. We're getting better. We're getting better, right, Johnny?
We are getting
Oh,
better.
I mean, you guys are the
Well, I
musicians.
can
You
make it
guys
yeah,
are doing the music really good.
yeah, yeah.
Night Dance in particular, when I was very first listening to it, I was like, okay, I wish I could like understand the words a little better. And
Yeah,
there are cases
Okay.
in Old School Wonderful too where it was a little distracting. Like even on the beach, it's like I know those lyrics now, but for a really long
Mhm.
time, it's like maybe it's not what you want. Maybe the whole point of the vocoder is to kind of have this weird robot thing.
Yeah, there's definitely a piece of it where like having the vocals sit is like what makes most sense artistically, but I get it that it doesn't make the most sense from a listener's perspective.
Only if
Yeah.
if you're focused on lyrics, like
I mean,
No, that's a really good point. That's a hard one to address because it should be, it can be artistic and there can be a sense of us wondering what the lyrics are supposed to be, and the listener is taken down a path of their own choosing. But
mm,
also, the lyrics that we write are very important. So, yeah, clarity on that would be definitely something that we should look into.
I think there's a thing when you're like in a big, powerful band, you know, like where you're used to your band sounding all big and huge, and like the feeling of that, just the sound, the air moving in the room is so like exciting that when you make a recording of it, if the vocals are just cranked, it makes everything else sound less powerful or something. And so I think that's like the problem with a band member mixing or whatever, is that
yeah, you're
you
in
maybe
it.
don't have the perspective.
That's everywhere. I mean, every instrumentalist wants their part to cut through, but almost any listener is like focused on the vocals. Like 90%
Yeah,
of listeners, they're only listening to vocals or whatever. It's silly.
right.
It's a silly thing.
Totally, totally.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah,
that's what the listener can identify with, if they don't play an instrument, for instance.
yeah.
Everyone sings to some extent. Yeah.
right.
So, and I wanted to comment on that too. Like one of the things, like when I show Wonderful, like particularly God Bless Our Pad to people, I think they're off-put at first by the vocal tone, and I think they're wrong
Mm.
about that because in rock and roll and punk in all this hipster stuff, there's this kind of attitude of ego. It's like I'm singing my ego at you. I'm pushing my snottiness at you, and there's like none of that in Wonderful. Like I ask you guys, hey, was it Noah singing on this song or was that Peter? You're like, I don't know. We kind of all took a take at it. Like I don't even know who's singing
yeah.
because you're singing like choir and you're just singing the melody, and it's pure and it's innocent. And I think that's one of the coolest things. Like as you get used to the sound, I think that's one of my favorite parts of it is the vocal tone.
Oh,
It's just singing. It's just straight up singing.
I love that.
But it's weird to
Wow.
people. Like people aren't used to that. Like they're at first a person will feel like, okay, it's kind of weak. Like it's kind of like, but no, it's not
Understood.
weak.
I think yeah, none of us are like a really like super ripping singer. I mean,
Fuck
we can all
man.
sing well,
Yeah.
and I think well enough. And so also I think we're such sticklers about like the composition of like what's the vocal melody supposed to be doing melodically over, like we're pretty specific about our melodies. We're not just like whoa. So I can see
Right.
how those two things coming together would make a vocal sound that's
You're
it's like, oh,
singing.
where's the kick-ass lead singer? It's like,
Right.
not
Right.
here. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you sing like an instrument. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is also where vocoder comes in, kind of melding to the voice and the instrument.
Yeah.
We all kind of have a joke that's we're all like lead backup vocals.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so exhausted. I found and lost it a millionth time. Where's the sense in running when all you're after gets left behind?
I was gonna say, I know you guys are like you guys are pretty close with Shane from Dolur, right? Shane Tutmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His voice is kind of like if you guys did have a front man. It's kind of like he has that snottiness and that repetitive and that like moving around a lot, but it's very wonderful-ish in terms of like the way he writes songs. I was
That's
kind of
cool.
was he involved with any of this? Like, did he help with like Pagoda or anything?
We lived together for a while, all in the same house,
Yeah.
Okay.
and
Yeah, there's
we
definitely some
inspired each
crossover.
other. Yeah, big time. We definitely drew massive inspiration from each other, and I think
And
that was.
played in his band, he played in ours.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we recorded
yeah.
with them.
No, actually, Shane was the original bass player in U.S.E.
That's right.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, he actually wrote a lot of the bass lines on the first album.
Yeah.
On the first U.S.E. album.
Weird. So how come? So he
He's
kind of went off and did his own thing and put like, man, like he could be a part of this too. That's crazy. It's pretty.
Yeah, I
close.
think he was just doing his own thing. And then I think when USC was like, oh, wait, USC is going to get busy and keep going, then I think he was like, I'm still going to do Delore, whatever, I believe. I think that's kind of how it went down. But
Yeah.
he's also, I just remembered he's also, that like the soundtrack of our lives on God Bless Our Pad? There's like the ding,
Yeah,
that organ track.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
organ.
Like that room
And there's a bunch
mic.
of people talking. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
that
ask
one.
about that. It's like a hidden track kind of deal.
That's Shane. That's me and Shane talking about "Don't Pass Me by the Beatles."
Nice.
And I was like, I love that. He's like, I don't, or whatever. But yeah, he's in there. You can hear Shane's voice talking.
I've always wondered what that is. It's kind of like the hidden stuff.
And then Johnny says, like, they should play this in prisons.
I think I found like an old one of those old 60s organs with the beat and everything, and I was jamming there
Yeah.
tuning in, and it's like, yeah, this is really places where people need to chill out.
That's what it was. Yeah. That was that Chimicum house. They had that organ there in the Chimicum house, and Derek had like the room mic rolling while we were hanging. Because Shane was out there with us.
Hanging out kind of sounds. Yeah, it sounded like you. I figured you guys just put that in there because it sounds like guys having fun. It's just like a fun time. It kind of sets the mood.
Yeah.
And it was a cool piece of music too. So
I noticed Upon the Waters, is that the name of that one? The kind of field song. At the end of it, there's a little whispered thing too.
Oh Lord, Lord, oh Lord, I'm coming for you.
You know what I'm talking about? Like at the end of it, there's like,
oh man, what is that?
sounds like
On Dreamland.
it sounds like it's like God's here or something like that. It's like okay,
Ooh.
it's something weird. I'm here.
So when we mastered that, we were like, wait, what is that? We didn't record that. God's here.
So that was an actual, real shocking ghost caught on tape.
Actually, I don't know.
I think somehow we
The
captured
Amy-
the voice of God whispering on our recording.
That
was when there was like a low cello at the very end, right? Let's see.
Yeah, kind of,
I
yeah.
don't remember how that
Oh,
went.
it's the tape played backwards.
Well, there was a lot of backwards audio in that one, in that album too, right? There's like a
Yeah,
whole part where, yeah, and the whole song starts out backwards, and so there's
most of
not, you
that's
guys aren't, there's not like a treasure or something if you solve the mystery, like hidden in all the
there
There
songs.
might
might
be.
be.
I don't know. Keep
I
Working
trying.
on
mean,
it.
we did drop some fantasy type poems in the background of some of our stuff. That's not really that clear, just because.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe Adam, by now you've kind of seen we're pretty goofy guys, but we also have this, I guess, esoteric approach to our music. So when those humor and eccentric, weird personalities combine, I guess that's why we have, titles like "My How You Come Alive," which is beautiful, and then it's like, you know, "Romance and Freedom" is the next song.
yeah.
It's we don't really take ourselves seriously, but we also that's just what happens when we are together.
I do get the sense that like almost like for you guys, some of this stuff feels like a little bit just like sentimental or just like it just kind of has the right sound to it. But the lyrics really are meaningful to me. And I wonder like, are these like kind of hitting you in the stomach too? Like, I mean, how do you guys feel about the messages and the lyrics and things like that? Like, how does that work? How do you work them out? You know, how does that happen? I guess you guys are, there's a lot of kind of funniness. There's a lot of like, oh, let's just like read a story in the middle of this or something. But I think that there's like kind of maybe a subconscious intelligence to, in a really heartfelt sense to it, because I mean, it's kind of like nothing else in terms of the way that it moves me. Kind of reminiscent of like Dark Side of the Moon in a lot of ways. Like
Wow.
this cosmic kind of thing where just in some event in my life I'll be like, oh my god, you guys are seeing me. It's so weird.
Wow,
Wow. Wow.
that's amazing.
I mean, I think we're like dudes hanging out, but also I feel like, yeah, there is something we're taking really seriously. There's like almost like what we were saying about, when we get in a room together, like it just kind of happens. Like I think there is like a true gift and a true magic and there's this real thing I feel like we're sort of chasing or like tapping into that we all know it. And it might come across as goofy, but it's like also like dead serious to us or something. I don't know.
We,
And yeah,
a lot of stuff is tongue in cheek and totally sincere at the same time.
Yeah.
Like we might come up with something because it makes us laugh, and then once we like put words to it, we like believe it completely, you know?
Baby Boy Blue, right? It's kind of a lullaby. It on the most simple level, it's just a lullaby. You sing your baby to sleep. But I could totally see them like playing that song like at the end of Breaking Bad when he's like laying on the ground bleeding out. You know, it's kind of about like death too. It's kind of deep, and it's just because of the way it feels.
Goodbye, sweet baby blue, baby boy blue, baby, 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 baby boy, baby boy blue, baby boy.
Like the beach, like what is the point of the beach? Like everyone can kind of feel in the music this sense of, water coursing, and I mean the rhythm just it really gives you this oceanic sense, but I'd never leave you waiting on the shore with every wave I show my love, right? That makes just tons of sense to me. It's like this dark night, that period in between joy, the winter, and just that certainty that it's going to come back because it's a cycle, it's a pattern, it always comes back. I mean, is that like, do you try to do shit like that? Like, or this just kind of happens? It's kind of
Sometimes it
cosmic.
just happens. I mean, like that song, I think we all chipped in on different parts of the words, like, and then it just ends up telling this story that sometimes wasn't even the set intention going into it, but once we all put ourselves in there, it just gets bigger than the four of us,
So do lyrics come out like it's not like someone goes off and writes most of the lyrics in general, or sometimes, or
It depends.
Yeah.
Some songs are mostly in place, but a lot of the songs that become wonderful songs, maybe somebody has one part and we find out it works great with somebody else's other part, and then they combine and then it just grows from there. So I think a lot of wonderful songs come together that way, where it is a combined effort. It just ends up taking it to a place that none of us would have thought of on our own.
Yeah, like for the beach, like no, I remember like there's Pete's part lyrically, and then there's your vocoder part.
Hmm.
It's not like they were written intentionally as a linear thing either. I feel like we kind of land on the words that feel and sound good, and then maybe what's keeper about them is that we felt that same thing that Adam's talking about, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh geez, like I don't know exactly what this picture this is painting, but I really feel it strongly,
yeah.
Right.
So I'm just like, that's where I just feel like
So it's very intuitive.
thankful, just like
Yeah.
gracious or
Wow.
gratitude for that.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's that kind of timeless and that universal, like intuitive kind of thing where you can, like Rivers Overflow, I have no idea what that's technically about, but it is meant 25 different things to me that were really hardcore at various times throughout my life.
Wow.
And it goes on just the right amount of time, and it's like it keeps building and getting like bigger and higher and more intense, and then it just turns into a bunch of birds chirping.
I feel like those two tracks to me are like, that was sort of like when we were like actually a band, actually playing shows and actually like practicing all the time, and those just feel like pinnacle of that era of just us like
Okay.
making it happen together in a room, and these like big long compositions that kind of just grew and built. And yeah, that's cool to think about those two next to each other.
Those were the two standouts for me. Those are the two that just keep unfurling like forever for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Dreamland has its bangers too, for sure, in that sense. And it's only been, X amount of years. Like it's still kind of unfurling a little bit. In a lot of ways.
That's cool. That's
But
cool.
I
I think by the time we did Dreamland, we had like the experience of being in U.S.E too, and like maybe the songs arrangement wise are maybe simpler, because we were probably had the band thing honed a little more and knew when to maybe like cut them off and work on the next song or something a little more maybe. But
Yeah. That one
yeah.
seems like it came out of more of like a band dynamic, like where you're playing and rehearsing rather than studio, like throw it all together in the blender kind of.
Mhm. It's kind of a lot of both. Like Dreamland and the beach and Rivers Overflow were both like practice space rock band in a room. I mean, obviously we added stuff to it, but yeah, it's cool to think about, man. I haven't like listened to stuff for a bit, so
Yeah, I had to do a little refresher too. I mean, it's
sweet.
been so who in the heck? So each album has like a woman song that starts with an A, and I think
Yeah.
my idea is, I don't know if these are real people, maybe they are, but I think you just Okay, let's do a song, like rock and roll people do. It'll be about a lady's name, because if someone has that name, then they'll listen to it and they'll share it with their friends. But you just stop at A, because A is the first letter. What's the truth? Who's Angeline? Who's
All three of those, Angeline, Adrian, Annabelle, and Angeline, were all written or Peter came up with, those titles, and a lot of the words probably of all three of those. And I don't think he ever intended to do that, but I always kind of knew that he'd end up with a 3-syllable, and a girl with a name with 3 syllables starting with an A, and he did.
they're just
None of those are real. Those are not.
Imaginary characters.
Okay.
Or, they symbolize very real, but just rolls off the tongue.
I mean, what else rhymes with be mine? You know what I mean? Adrian's
So Night Dance needs his A name and needs his A name song.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Akemi and Anukas. He actually ended up with
Ooh, you got multiple of you have some.
and her daughter.
And my wife's name is a 3-syllable A name.
Oh, there you go. So you got it.
Believe it or not, maybe I got to step in.
Yeah, I was gonna comment that it's kind of like a cliche for people to say that there's so many like bands and artists out there that they don't really get the credit they deserve. And I've been around a while and I played in bands and stuff, and I don't really feel that way. I feel like there's a lot, like, it kind of makes sense in general why bands don't like go anywhere, and you guys are like the best example of a band that I feel like should have like exploded into, like, been in movies and like should just have been the flavor of the week for like 2 years, like Radiohead or something. This is one of like 5 examples that I personally know of like a group that just like, I kind of can't believe how much it's not recognized. And maybe, like you're saying, it's because you never found like your fifth Beatle or your manager or somebody who was really into marketing or putting it out there. But it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's criminal in the sense of too, like you would be able to work on it more if it was kind of, if there was more pressure, if there was more. It's crazy.
There are bands that have catapulted into the stratosphere that have 3 songs, right? And all of a sudden they're like, Jason has a joke that when the Strokes first broke big, the press that the Strokes would get was about how much press they got.
Oh, right.
And it's like, and I kind of attribute that to the rock gods being that sometimes something happens that you don't have any control over in all areas of life. But in this case, we're talking about bands. They've done little to no work. Arctic Monkeys somehow leaked something and it got big somehow. You don't know how these things happen, but it happens. And then there's the other side of the coin where people struggle but they're pursuing their passion. I think that's what ultimately it's about, even if the whole world doesn't hear it.
That's cool.
It's always been a passion project. As much as I would love to share everything we've ever recorded with the world, like just us being there for the weekend and getting to make music together in a room, and like anything is possible, and we never know what kind of synergetic magic is going to occur, like in and of itself, that's worth it right there. And that's how we've been making music for so long. It's like, yeah, it's a bummer that nobody else gets to hear this music that we love,
That's beautiful.
But
and that's
but
exactly how I
it's
feel.
still worth creating, just for that experience and that moment, that's now locked on record on Jay's hard drive.
Hopefully, yeah. It's a total it's like a real family. Like, Like these are my brothers, you know. Who knows what massive commercial success could have done to us when we were in our mid 20s or whatever. I mean,
That's legit.
not that I would worry about that. We had our heads on reasonably straight, maybe, but you know, I guess what I'm saying is this is the way it is, and like,
Are in the perspective that you are in that and you get to experience that. I'm mad for all the people out there that could be benefiting from this. It is to me like, you know, when you see all the monks and they make the mandalas out of sand and then they just go,
yeah,
when they're all done, it's so beautiful, they just go throw it in the river. Like,
yeah,
hey,
isn't
get
that
out of
amazing?
here.
Unreal. Yeah,
You guys have all these recordings that are just, they're on a hard drive. Yeah, whatever.
hopefully they're not. Hopefully they're not as temporary as that
No.
mandala. But yeah, I do feel the weight and the pressure to like share more of that stuff. It's hard to get together sometimes and make it happen, but when we do, it's always magical. So I'd like to release more of that stuff. Right, dudes?
Yes. Especially knowing there's a person out there that would listen to
Yeah,
it.
Oh,
totally.
100,000%. Yeah,
Totally.
and not just me. I make all my friends listen to this too. So
Sweet. They're like, enough. We'll send you our hard drive and you can mix it all for us.
sure,
I'm
sure,
joking.
yeah.
I'm joking.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not at the level of mixing that I'm hearing over there on your stuff.
Yeah.
I do a little bit. I do a bit of
Cool.
mixing.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, my jam is I'm working out self-help rock. That's my genre, right? Who does
Nice.
self-help rock, right? We do
Yeah.
Great.
rock opera about being a better salesman in life, self-confidence and having the drive.
Where can we hear that?
I have like 2 demos of it. It's really nice. Yeah, I'll keep you posted as it develops. I'm not very good as like a one-man army, but it's kind of second fiddle to this YouTube channel thing. It's kind of doing. I'm having a lot of fun with this. People watch it. People talk to me. It's a really good time, and I've never really shared this side of myself with the world before. It's really helped me to develop my self-confidence just to say how I feel for real, you know, honestly, what I feel, my ideas, the things that I'm into, my spirituality, the way I feel about life, and to have people not just, you know, trash me and ignore it, but like, yeah, okay, hey, I'm listening. This is cool. I mean, maybe that's kind of what your music feels like for you too, to actually have people like, you know, accept it and dig it and be like, yeah, I'm kind of on a level with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you're being honest,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know.
Feels good.
Yeah. In getting that feedback, like,
Yeah.
it makes you want to be more honest, right? It makes you want to like do more of your videos and like be more transparent, and
Yeah,
that's great, man. I'm happy for you, dude.
thanks.
I watched some of the stuff, and it's
Mhm.
pretty far out and beautiful. And
Yeah.
I was watching some of your integral theory stuff. So
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, man.
What about like in terms of dreams, you know, like is some of your stuff like inspired by dream content? Is there sort of a surrealism thing here? Do you wake up from a little vision and kind of, hey, oh, or even more
Yeah.
importantly, do you get musical content from your dreams?
Yes.
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 That actually been happening to me for years.
Whoa.
So I'll wake up from a dream in time to remember a snippet
Yeah.
of a melody, or sometimes it's got words, you know, and you know, maybe it's just maybe it doesn't have a context in my dream, maybe it does, but I'll wake up and, you know, immediately like, you know, record whatever I can on, you know, on my phone without waking up my family. And
Are you like you're like, wait, no, that is a real song, right? And then you're like, well, I can't think of what it is, and then
Definitely.
yeah, no, it's usually I usually can't place the song. It's not usually a song I've heard before.
Totally. Yeah.
And so it just feels like a gift, you know.
A gift.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, I
like
think that's how
little-
yesterday happened to Paul. I think that was.
Mhm.
amazing.
And I get some little tiny bits. They're kind of junk usually, and sometimes you know I'll have a dream where I just shred, and I'm like, wow, like I'm, you know, right now critically thinking I seem to be actually playing the right notes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Awesome.
Or bust out my trumpet or whatever. Yeah, it's
Sweet.
pretty funny. I think there's a
That
special credit to anything that was composed in a dream state. Like,
that
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
Upon the
I don't
Waters
know who
came that
gets the
way.
credit, but it's
really? Oh man,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah.
I see my Lord, he'll be coming for you. Oh Lord, above below us. Oh Lord, calling for you.
Because
Woke
that's the
up with
most
that.
spine tingling tune, I would say.
Mm,
That one is a spine tingler. Like
wait,
it
which
has
yeah.
that
one?
like
Okay.
rumble in it.
Upon the Waters.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
hear
that's
my
right.
Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were in Hawaii
yeah,
and
yeah.
you heard
That was a
that.
trip. So I was in Hawaii and I woke up, yeah, out of a dream, and there was the dream was like, I can't remember if it was us all singing together, but it had this feeling of like an old movie of like a bunch of like a men's choir or
Sure.
something. I was like in the bathroom, like in the dark, like recording a little melody onto my whatever it was. And then I went out onto like the porch, you know, the lanai, right? And then it was there was like a naval ship parked out at sea. And the feeling that I had then was that somehow I was like resonating with this like naval men's choir that was like parked out at sea outside of our hotel or something.
Lord, Lord, oh Lord, I'm coming for you.
I don't know, man.
That gives me goosebumps. Yeah.
I think it might be true. I mean, because it felt like it, and it turned into a thing, and I can't really articulate.
It's like a work song. It's like a straight up work song, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll see me just walking down the road. I see my Lord. Just do the same thing. Like,
sweet.
yeah.
Heck yeah, dude, that's
Oh
awesome.
Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
So that was
wonderful.
the kernel. The kernel of that was transmitted from a battleship out in Hawaii, and the
Amazing.
rest was completed by all of us. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah, and that one was cool because we kind of wrote it together. I think Noah kind of wrote that. We learned that one totally a cappella. So like
Kind of
we were
recreate
able
the name.
just to blast it out, just voices only. And then that's kind of more or less what's on the recording, but we filled it in with
Ambiance.
Yeah.
sonics.
Ambiance. Yeah. That's
Oh, and now I'm
perfect.
remembering that whispering you're talking about. What
Yeah.
did
At the
that
very
say?
end, there's a little bit of a
Yeah,
secret.
I'm
Yeah.
remembering that now. Yeah.
Ah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Dreamland.
Only Ocean on Dreamland.
Oh yeah.
I don't think the melody, I think I had just come up with the piano part that turned
Oof.
into the melody,
So
but
cool.
then I like took a nap and then I had this image when I woke up from my dream of like it was wonderful, like old school playing a show and this giant tidal. It was on a screen behind us, but it was like this tidal wave like coming over us.
Everything's new to all we long to be. Holy ocean, carry us out to sea. Carry us out to sea.
But it was then I realized that went right with the piano piece that I just, had written, so it all kind of synergized.
That's another one where the piano it totally captures that feeling of the waves with it, how they kind of all suck and pull and disperse. And it's just the piano sounds exactly like what that looks like and feels like when you wade out into the ocean and it's just like, carry me off. Here we go. I'm
Oh
now
man.
absorbed. I'm just a feather on on this thing.
Yeah.
beautiful.
That one blows me away.
Yeah.
Oof.
What is Pagoda about?
Good question.
In my pagoda, I travel North Dakota. And I mean, I'm falling in love with someone else. That's
We're still working on that.
You've got it.
Yeah.
Can't make any love all by yourself. I'm falling in love with someone else. Some say they'll never change. Tell them they should know by now that all this lonely pain comes from never reaching
I think
I love it.
It's fun to sing.
maybe a
It's
little
fun.
abstract, impressionistic. Good times.
That's what I kind of figured. It's fun to say, and it kind of you could make like an image of it. Ana Paradisimo or Paradiso mean anything? Is that real? Is that from something?
It's from something. We're not really, but I had listened to this choral piece, I think called In Paradisium or something like that. And then Shane wrote a song
On a
paradisio. On a Paradisimo or on a Paradiso.
There's a song from above and from below. On a
And then somehow that turned into On a Paradisimo. It's kind of made up words, but
Ana could mean up again or back in Greek. It could mean grace or favor. Paradiso, that makes sense.
back to paradise.
Back to Paradise. I think that was a
I mean,
Beach Boys album.
It's kind of, I've noticed, I don't think it's really intentional either. We kind of tend to create worlds with our albums.
Yeah.
Dreamland, Wake Up to Dreamland,
Yeah.
God Bless Our Pad, Welcome to Wonderful. Like we're inviting you to this, welcome to this world we're creating with our music that kind of.
That is cool. So there's world building. It's like Coheed.
Yeah.
Some world building. Each album kind of
Even
has its own-
and then even U.S.E's second album is called Love World.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Golden Rays. What is that about?
shine down through water, but we're only here by running from the lonely rain. And the days fall slowly, but the years keep on passing me by.
Well, when like it rains and it's sunny out at the same time,
Ooh.
and then you break up with a girl.
Ooh. Yeah.
I guess it's kind of that. I guess it was kind of that realm. Lost chances and
Well, you guys
Just like-
already said, it's impressionistic stuff, and it's like world building, and it's kind of like everybody
Yeah.
puts in. But I was just kind of curious, what happens if I ask you guys what the meaning of a song is? Try to
Yeah.
play that game. Yeah.
just some of that imagery and also just mid-20 somethings
Yeah.
romance,
Oh yeah. There's got to be some of that in
Yeah.
any album. Yeah.
freedom.
The other night I had there's this kind of recurring thing that I think everyone has in their dreams where like if I'm driving and I'm heading south and I'm kind of getting towards Arizona, there's a certain place down there. It doesn't exist in real life, but I recognize and I say, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to that place. It's so beautiful." There's just these plateaus and there's just pastels and we're getting there. I remember this. This is it. It's heavenly. It's sort of a paradise in itself and it's hidden. It's off somewhere, right? this is kind of what I get at when I'm listening to your tunes. Like it kind of pulls that out. It's like this elusive thing that doesn't really exist. You know, it's like it's out there and you're almost there. You're about to get to it, but it's kind of being created by your mind. You know.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that. I love that.
On ahead of me, till the light of the world is all you see. Roll, roll for all you're worth, till the rivers overflow.
I think that's the place that our music takes us
Yeah.
when we're making it together.
Wow.
And I think a lot of our songs kind of end up being, I guess, even describing that experience of, you know, kind of like love songs to each other and like to like this wonderful thing that happens when we make music together. You know, that combined with, you know, over a half lifetime of friendship. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that.
It seems like a really authentic and sincere devotion, like a sense of, you know, that feeling that you guys are capable of getting to together. I mean, it's kind of men in particular, but just human beings. It's hard to kind of draw that out in a group of people and to really express it between one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sublime,
A
the
unique
sacred.
thing.
Yeah.
It is.
So so thankful.
Yeah.
Like Noah said, that's what the songs are about. It's like our muse or something too, or like what we're not that we're striving for it, but yeah, it's like that. Yeah, that thing you can't quite put your finger on, but I'm just agreeing. I don't know.
Comes out in the way your craft synthesizes with one another, and the way you guys bring out energies from one another, and the times that you have. Yeah, it just goes right into sounds that make sounds.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
What does spirituality kind of mean to you at this juncture in your life? Like, what do you, I mean, it's a really broad question, but I was just kind of curious if you had any like musings about kind of where your spiritual journey's at, or where it's taken you, or kind of what one could abstract from that.
We're all on a journey, on our own journey, and collective as well. But I mean, I would say it's, I mean, the most important part of my life is just,
You're doing a tiny house thing. You're off in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just out there with the
Started a
spirit.
little farm up in the mountains, and love getting up at sunrise with my little backpacker guitar and heading out in the field and singing the sun up.
Wow.
That's my favorite.
Wow.
And I feel like a lot of my most profound and powerful moments of my life, connecting with the divine, connecting with God, music is right there, is a part of that experience. It's the lubrication. It just, like, you know, paves the way for it. That's just like,
do you miss the city? I mean, you yearn for the city.
I miss
at
my
all?
friends in the city.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We miss you too.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've always, like, spirituality wise, seems like seekers, or I feel like I'm still always I'm into it and into reading about it and learning about it and seeking, I guess, and sometimes finding, learning.
Explore.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge part of my thought process and
heart and mind engaged with spirit. Yeah.
The integral theory stuff is pretty interesting, way it lays that the framework of, like, consciousness evolution essentially, and far out reminds me of
It's neat.
some others. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got into it when I was about 17, so it's a thing like Wonderful that it's just always been this weird thing that I've always been really, really fascinated with and into. It's kind of goes in that category of things. There's a couple things like that.
That's cool.
But this is my form of, devotion, religion, spirituality. It's kind of filtered through that integral theory thing and the kind of universalizing ideas. Like, you don't have to pick one. You just kind of like, oh, this is cool about this one. This is cool about how you practice. This is cool about
Hmm.
how you're, where your emotions get channeled through spirit, Just take it all in, like cross training.
Yeah, awesome.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
I resonate. I resonate with that for sure.
I hope it'll let me use little clips here because we're talking about a lot of stuff. I think it lets you use like 5 seconds. It'll
Oh,
probably
you're asking
content it.
about music in the background?
Well, not in the background, but kind of like when we mention a song, just do a little,
Oh, yeah.
jump to it, or
We could give you whatever you'd like to use.
if it like content IDs me, I'm sure you'd be okay, particularly in this video. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I would love to use, little bits of your tunes for like lots of things like end caps and things, and like you
Yeah,
say,
man, as much as you want.
archive material. Yeah.
It's like we can give you the 100% thumbs up, okay, but that doesn't mean that Zoom will believe you. So
Exactly. Yeah.
good luck.
YouTube.
Or
Yeah,
let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know if we can help in any way.
Cool. Well, that's wonderful.
Yep.
And you're wonderful.
Yeah.
That's in real life. Yeah. Cool. So, I just want to thank you for, taking the time to do this with me, without really much investment. I just kind of, was like, hey guys, you want to do this? You're like, oh, okay, sure. It's weird, I'm kind of like a little starstruck, it's like kind of weird, but I've always kind of been nervous with you guys, just because it's like I go off and do your music in private, and it's like this deeply moving thing, for me, and you guys go off and do it together, and it's this deeply moving thing for you. So it's kind of weird to
Yeah.
get in the same room and like talk about it,
This is kind of the first time we've had such an in-depth conversation with somebody else about our art, about our music. It was really refreshing. I think I could speak for the same for Noah and Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you for reaching out to us and making us talk about stuff that we would normally not talk about.
That is
Yeah.
so great. It's only now, like at this ripe old age, that I actually have like the confidence to talk to people that I'm like really fascinated with, It's just, I was kind of too insecure to do that previously. So I don't know. It's cool. I'm glad to do
Awesome.
that for you. And, I just really
Fantastic.
appreciate it. I'm really grateful. This has been so great for me, and I hope that it kind of gets some new eyes on your tunes and new ears on your tunes. And I just really look forward to all the things you do. I think you guys are like I said, my favorite band by far out there.
Awesome.
I'm
Thank you so
really
much.
obsessed with music, so yeah,
Right on, dude.
cool.
Well, yeah,
Cool.
anytime you wanna talk, let us know, and
That's
we'd
fantastic.
love to. Yeah, we'd love to. So our
Absolutely
pleasure. Thank you so much.
fun,
Yeah.
Thank you.
meaningful.
I feel
I
good.
enjoy the long form conversation because then it kind of opens you up to not just talking about one narrow aspect of something.
Yeah.
It's cool that we were able to connect for such a long time.
I
Yeah.
knew you guys were cool and stuff. Like I really wanted. I was scared that we'd come in here and we'd do like a standard like radio interview kind of thing. Like, so you guys are from musical families, or like, sure, there's a bit of that. There is like an audience, but I like that it splinters off. Like I want it to kind of go into deep lore storytelling stuff.
Like when we were in U.S.E, we got interviewed. Sometimes we had more of like a press thing back then.
Yeah.
But then we were like kind of like had the answers, and this just feels real and cool because it's. But also, I feel a little like out of practice. Like, oh yeah, what song was that? Or like,
I mean, it might even be cool to do a session if you're ever just kind of hanging out and want to, like, about not wonderful, just talk about ideas and spirit and life and stuff. That might be fun too. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
whatever you want.
cool.
You guys are my heroes, so like I'd be like all about it.
Sweet.
Down.
Music in general, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So cool.
Awesome.
We all have pretty broad thought backgrounds that it would be a lively conversation, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys are real characters, and there's real richness of thought, that's expressed in your music and in your lives. And I mean, just like look at your backgrounds. I mean, you guys are we're just like all over the place. It's amazing. Okay, so once again, thank you, namaste. It's been such a
Thank you.
pleasure. This has been wonderful.
Thank you,
Wonderful's
Adam.
Night Dance, the guys from U.S.E. And
Success.
let's get pumped. Yeah!
All right. Thank you, Adam.
And we'll have a great night.